When you stop and think about it, most of the problems we've had in America, or really around the world, that regard politics of any sort, when you get a really big problem, it's because of something stupid somebody did. It's always man-caused problems. In a world that has been shaped by countless years, earthquakes, droughts, glaciers, meteors, volcanoes, we've been really lucky that nothing like that has really happened here in over 1,000 years. Nothing big globally. But right now, we've got a problem going on that is going to affect you. This is going to affect you. It's going to affect your politics. You're going to make political decisions based on this. This is going to be very big news going on ahead. And I'm going to define it right here because there's no avoiding this. If you ever believed a prediction, believe this one because this is absolutely true. Everyone knows the reason I was asked to do this show in the first place was because of the accuracy of my predictions, my history of it, my history of political analysis. I was on over 150 radio shows coast to coast as a political analyst, constitutional consultant because of my predictions. Here's what we're going to tell you about it. We're going to tell you what the problem is and how it happened, the complete cause of it, because this is nature. That's what makes it dangerous. The Democrats are going to be able to use it. They're going to blame it on climate change. But the third thing, why it affects you, because this is going to affect you no matter who you are. Some people in this country, it's going to be a major disaster for. It's going to turn their lives upside down. It's going to affect everybody, though. And nobody's going to like what it does. The fourth thing, solutions. We got to discuss the solutions for it. Number 5, the politics of it. Because Democrats are going to hit and run with this. It's the only good news they've had in a long time because since it's natural, they can blame man for it. And there's a lot of suckers that are going to go along with it. We got some important elections coming up. So yeah, all of this matters. What we're talking about is the drought in Southwest America. This is not a minor thing. It hasn't made a lot of news outside of the region. I know people aren't even hardly aware of it. But Lake Mead and Lake Powell are dropping dramatically. What that means, the Colorado River is the only major river over there that goes down and can water all of that southwestern area, and that is California, Utah, Wyoming is in on it, Arizona, Nevada, New Mexico. Those are the states that are all sucking water or power out of the Colorado River. Over 40 million people take water out of that river. Now, they built the dams. They built Hoover Dam so there was a big lake there, and they could irrigate farms, provide water to homes, everything you need water for. That was fine, except the plans that they made were based on data that was available in 1922. That was the wettest decade in history, and that's what they based it on. The area of Phoenix, Arizona, at that time, that they decided they were going to allot water for it, they had about 45,000 people in the greater metropolitan area of Phoenix, Arizona. They built a big ditch clear across the state, over 300 miles, so they get water from the Colorado River into Phoenix. The first time I flew over that, I looked down, all I could think was how much water is evaporating out of that. The whole thing is designed, it's just designed to waste water. But they figured on 45,000 people being in Phoenix using water out of that river. There is now 5 million people in the greater Phoenix metropolitan area. It's bad when you plan on something and the number you plan for doubles or triples or quadruples. If it quadrupled, that would have been, 190,000, 180,000 people. There's 5 million people. It's gone up 111 times more than what they figured for. The Colorado River doesn't even reach the ocean anymore. It used to run down into the Sea of Cortez down there in Mexico. It just peters out into mud and then dry sand in the desert. They have used an entire river. Well, here's a look at the dams and the lakes that are supposed to be behind them. You see that white band? That's where the water used to be. Doesn't look like much. What does it look like, 10, 20 feet tall? That is 180 feet in Lake Powell. It's 160 feet, 140 to 160 in Mead because it kind of goes up and down a little bit. There is no more water to replace this water. Las Vegas, all over down there. They've got cities, they got towns you've never heard of that are already dried up. You turn on the faucets, there is nothing there because they've had to start practicing conservation. But one of the mistakes, another mistake they've made, because you cannot put millions of people in a desert. Another mistake they've made, besides thinking that man could defeat nature, is they started tapping the groundwater. They said, hey, there's water down there below us. They start pulling it out. That water can't be replaced. When you get rains and snows, that doesn't replace that groundwater. That groundwater is ancient. There used to be oceans. There used to be seas, and then there was all the water that melted off the glaciers that made the Great Lakes. A lot of it went down that way. That's what washed out that Colorado River basin in the first place. That's what filled up the groundwater down there. That water is hundreds of thousands of years old. It cannot be replaced. There is no more water. There is no solution for this problem because there is no more water. It can't be done. They developed what they called the 7-state compact, Colorado River Compact. Everybody decided how much percentage of the water each state was going to get. But they figured they were going to have 16 million acre feet of water. That's what they measured in. They're going to get 16 million acre feet of water. They're getting about half that now. Imagine if you invite friends over for a barbecue, okay? And you get a 24-pack of beer. Well, that's fine. Everybody's enjoying themselves. Everybody has plenty of liquid refreshment, right? Okay, imagine 250 to 400 people show up. All the stores are closed. You can't get more beer, right? That's where we're at with this water. It cannot be replaced, and there's too many. As Abraham Lincoln used to say, there's too many pigs for the tits. You cannot just make water. There is a 26-year drought down there that's a historic drought. Now, it's happened before. This is not man-caused climate change. It's a cycle. The world does this. Like I said, they've had glaciers. There was a sea down there. They got seafloor fossils at 8,000 feet out there in the Rockies. It's a violent planet. The planet changes all the time. The change we're going through right now is it's not raining in the Southwest. Texas has problems too. Now, you wonder how this is going to affect you? What's the price of beef? What has happened to it? There's two reasons. We got big monopolies that have taken over the entire industry, and they don't give a shit about the consumer. They just want to gouge you. But they are focused on the western beef. Like the state of Iowa is a huge producer of cattle. They don't have a packing plant. You know what it costs to truck those cows around? Well, Texas ran out of water out in the pastures. You can't raise cattle without water. A lot of those guys have sold their cattle off. We got the smallest cattle herd that we've had in 73 years. It's supply and demand. They built the Hoover Dam to supply water down and hydropower to the Southwest. They finished that in the 1930s. They knew they were going to need more water. They wanted more backup to support the Hoover Dam and Lake Mead. So they built Lake Powell. These lakes take up hundreds of miles of the river. They completed the Glen Canyon Dam and Lake Powell in the late 1950s. The population then was about 175 million Americans. We've almost doubled that. We have almost twice the population now, and a lot of it has gone to the Southwest using water that is coming from the Colorado River. The river has been pushed beyond its limits. There is no more water to replace it. But we're going to run into other supply and demand issues, all of them related to the food chain. California, in the Imperial Valley around Fresno in the middle, okay, they grow 90% of our green vegetables for the winter seasons, for the off seasons. All your lettuce, tomatoes, it's not a green vegetable, but tomatoes are included in this. You get it. There's a lot of our citrus. 90% of that comes from California in the off season. They're running out of water. That water is coming from the Colorado River. The river is dropping. It's dropping so dangerously low, it already doesn't run to the ocean, but it's not filling up the lakes. They get hydroelectric power out of these lakes. 1.4 million customers getting power from there. 40 million people get water. 1.4 million get power. Well, when the water gets too low, those power dams have to shut off, and they are almost there. You cannot put more water in that river. There's nowhere to bring it from. There's no lake you could drain that is big enough. Everything you do is just a Band-Aid. We need rain and snow from nature, and it's not coming. For 26 years, we've been in this drought. Droughts like we've had before. 1,200 years ago, we had another one like this. We've had worse droughts behind that. But it's something the world goes through. And the problem is, it's not even just America. It's across the globe. China's having huge drought problems. Look up the droughts in Spain. Go into your browser and just Google up Lake Mead water levels, Lake Powell water levels. You will not believe what you find. This is well documented. It's a problem that was identified over 20 years ago. It's been a growing problem, and it's all being kept out of the media because, first of all, American media on the right and the left are both horrible. That's why a kid like Nick Shirley, a girl like Angela Rose has to go out and dig up the goods on these fraudsters. That's why people with no training or experience can outperform our national media. Well, here we go again. This is a story that should have been national a long time ago. It's local news down there. They have these groups they call the compact groups from each state and representing some of the Indian tribes. They get together and they meet all the time. They were supposed to come up with a solution for a way to combat this, except there is no solution. They can't quit fighting each other. This has been going on. It's been all over the news down there, but it's never made national news, and it's never been as big as it should be down there. I've watched shows from the people down there, the weather guys, and all these other people that talk about the hydrological problems. They act like it's just temporary. Oh, don't worry. Well, hell, they don't want to kill their own corner of the country, and I don't blame them. But the truth has got to come out about this. It's got to be told because we're up against the wall. That compact group that was supposed to come up with the solutions, they have failed. They got everybody to give up a little bit, but now the feds have to step in and take over for it because there hasn't been anything done. And right now, the rest of the country doesn't even know. All right, Gavin Newsom, he's already got enough problems, right? Why is he going to bring up more problems that he can't fix? None of these politicians ever want to tell you, hey, we've got a problem. There isn't a damn thing we can do about it. But here's the kicker. I don't know if they're going to use it in the midterms, but the Democrats would be stupid not to because they can bring up the climate change thing and crush Republicans saying conservatives wouldn't let them fix anything. Blame Trump. Blame the evil white people who wouldn't magically create more water for all the brown people and indigenous Indians of the Southwest. Now they've got a problem. They might wait till 28, but by 28, the problem is going to be big news all over the country. You'll be hearing about it like Nancy Guthrie. It's going to be that common in the news. Mark my word, this is 100% true. My predictions, like I said, I've got a history of the most accurate political predictions out there. The people who've known me for a long time, they all know this. This is going to be huge. There isn't anything they can do to fix it, and the politicians don't want to say that because when you can't get water anymore, you have to move. Where do you resettle all the people that are going to have to move from there? Of course, there's going to be a little water trickling down through there for a while. People who are in the Phoenix area, people who are in the Las Vegas area, people who are anywhere in the Southwest, everybody down there that is feeding off the Colorado River, there will be water for a long time for some of them. But it is going to become so expensive because they have to raise the water rates. Again, it's because of supply and demand. There's a group of people down there called the water managers. They've got their own fancy titles for it in every state. But this is you've heard of a one-on-one fight, a two-on-one, a three-on-one. This is like an 80-to-1 fight. The one is going to be the federal government because they're taking over on October 1st. The other 80, there's 30 Indian tribes. There's 7 states. There's all of those counties. There's industries. There's a golfing industry down there in Phoenix. They're growing food down there in the friggin' desert. They've got families that have been down there for 120 years say, well, this is all we do. This is all we know. I'm sorry. That happens all over the business world all the time. You can do something for a long time. Your family might have done it. You might love it as much as other people love their job. But sometimes you just can't do it anymore. You got to grow up and take it. It's a sad thing. I feel bad for the people. But the truth is, it is a desert. You do not build communities of millions in a frigging desert. There is no water. That's why they have to take water from the Colorado River in the first place. There is no water for that huge population down there. People are going to have to leave. Businesses are folding up. Businesses will have to, because they're not going to have the water. There's a lot of processing type businesses that require water. The fees on the water are going up. People start to leave because, they've got to get a job somewhere. When they can't, they're going to leave. A lot of them aren't going to be able to afford to. You can't just leave them there to starve without water, to die of thirst. The feds are going to be involved. Like I said, October 1st, the feds take over and force the plan because it can't be done right now. Nobody can come together. Nobody wants to give up enough. They've already cut back. Everybody's given up a little bit already. They gave up the easy parts. Well, it's time to cut off past the frosting and down into the cake. You got to cut things that people want and love. There's over 200 golf courses in southern Arizona, and all of them are irrigated. They're irrigating farm fields down there to grow alfalfa in a friggin' desert. They're growing alfalfa hay in a desert that is fed to cattle. It's getting shipped overseas. The Saudis are buying a lot of it. They're taking water from the Colorado River to grow alfalfa in a friggin' desert and send it overseas. Now, how is that smart when we're having to cut food production? We're cutting our own food production. We've already cut a bunch of it. We got fields down there lying fallow. I mean, look at these pictures. They've already been told you can't have water. The farmer has to decide, okay, how much am I going to shut down? Your water allocation gets reduced by 40%. You've got to reduce what you're planting by 40%. We are actually losing food production so people in the Southwest can have golf courses. Well, there's a lot of retired people down there. Beautiful country. Really gorgeous. But it is a frigging desert. I've got family and friends that have retired down there. But it is a frigging desert. Like I say, they got enough money. When the taxes start to go up, when the water rates go up dramatically, which they will, when the power bills go up, which they will, because remember, as people are moving out, there's a smaller portion of people left behind to put the bill of the rising cost. This is going to be dramatic. This is going to affect everyone. Now, the solutions, the political solutions, there aren't any. You can't make more water. There is no good news. One thing a politician hates more than anything else is tell the people, we've got a problem and there isn't a damn thing I can do about it. You're on your own. You're going to have to get out. What state wants to say that? But this is really going to upset the real estate market. Because consider this, the value in the Southwest is in this inflated property because of the fact that people thought everything was okay. Look, we can build, oh, sure, it's December, it's 80 degrees. Property values are really high down there. When they can't get water anymore, that's crashing, my friends. That is crashing. I don't blame the investors for building down there because if you look at it across the country, it isn't people building private homes anymore. That's not the big thing in the real estate market. Since the commercial market died when manufacturing and the office workers and everything died in America, since we started shifting jobs overseas, all of a sudden we got these empty office buildings. We got empty factories, empty warehouses. There's no money there. Real estate investors can't make any money there. So what they did, a lot of them are in the Southwest. They bundle large amounts of money together and they build offices and warehouses and stuff that you can lease out. They build homes that you can lease or rent. And they get their payback like that. That's what the investors do. The investors have to get a return on the money. So that's what has driven up the cost of the real estate down there. The investors have to have a return. That's how a corporation survives. If you don't provide dividends and returns for your investors, they go somewhere else. They're obligated by their job to charge exorbitant prices. But now they're going to have to leave. And all of that money is going to drop. The values of those properties is going to drop. People have to get the hell out. Who's going to buy those houses? Who's going to rent those apartments? Who's going to rent the warehouses and businesses when you can't get water in them? You realize what a disaster that's going to be? No, there will be billions, hundreds of billions of dollars lost in property value in the Southwest because they built it in a freaking desert. Mankind thought he could out-engineer Earth. Man has never mastered Earth. We've damaged it here and there. There's nothing we can do to it that it can't fix without us if we're not in the way still doing it. But it has its moods of its own. Look at Earth as an angry woman. There ain't a damn thing you can do about it. It's just going to do its thing, right? There, now the guys understand. Anyway, there's nothing we can do about it. It runs through these cycles, like my grandma said. You get hot spells, you get cold spells. You get wet spells, you get dry spells. It's just what happens. She was right. That's what happens. We've been through this. But a 26-year-old drought that is projected to get worse. Lake Powell dropped by 36 feet last year. 36 feet. You saw the pictures. 140 foot low. They've got boat ramps and great big docks and stuff on the north ends of these lakes. You can't even see water from the boat docks anymore. You can't even see it. It's so far down the canyon because the lakes have dried up. There is no more water. The turbines that make electricity for the Southwest will stop. You can bring in more electricity, but who's going to be needing it, Len, when people have to move out because they have no water? Hey, I'd like to remind you right now, I don't know if you're familiar with us, if you're new to us, but I'd appreciate it if you'd like and subscribe. We're a new channel. Moved everything over here from our old formats. This is just what we're focusing on because this is a lot of work. It really is. Anyway, appreciate you being here. If you want to help us grow, please hit like, subscribe, and most of all, the comments are really important too. Give us your feedback. So we've got legal fights coming because October 1st, the feds have to step in. There's your October surprise for the election. That's why I think it's going to come up in this election. Is because by 28, it's undoubtedly going to be a huge issue. But I think Dems will probably nail it for this election because October 1st, the feds have to take over and they lay down the law. The time of passing the buck, the time of those 80 different participants fighting with each other, the 30 Indian tribes, the 7 states, all the counties, all the industries, they're all going to have to be forced into accepting a new plan, and that new plan is a serious reduction for every one of them. It is bad news. There is no good news in this right now, except for the destination states. Now, where are these people going to move to? The destination states are going to see a boom. But remember, a lot of this is Southwest liberals like Southern California, Nevada. There's a bunch of them even around New Mexico. I mean, I've been surprised. They're everywhere, all right? And a lot of those people moving out of the area are going to be the lefties that are going to move into other areas that are stable. This is not good. It's not good for anybody. It's going to affect you because you just wait to see what your vegetables cost in the winter. When you had to pay $8 for a head of lettuce, you thought $7 for a dozen eggs was bad. Look how many things you can make. Cucumbers, tomato, everything. This is going to affect over half of the foods that you buy. Because when that end of the production isn't holding up out there, it puts a strain on the rest of it. We're going to have to find other places to grow vegetables. Think about that. Everybody that's been a prepper or everybody that's been a hobby gardener, get serious about it. Because you're going to want the food. Obviously, there's still going to be food in the stores, but it is going to be expensive. And we've already found out when those prices go up, they very seldom come back down. Milk and eggs have come down, dairy products. That's been nice to see. But I tell you, all of these things are going to go up because of supply and demand. If you want really good quality stuff that's cheap and affordable, grow it yourself. But there will be times when you run out of things. There will be times when you run out of lettuce, run out of cucumbers, run out of all your salad stuff, all your greens, citrus fruits. That's just going to happen periodically because we bet on the wrong farms when we bet on the Southwest. We still need all these vegetables. We still need all these things. we don't have a place to grow them. We're going to have to find new places. Like I said, Texas is already getting a drought. They grow the best watermelons in the country, but they're already getting a drought. It's spread to them. This is going across the globe. Like I said, look up Spain. Look up the drought in China. All over. It's not just us. It's the globe. It's a cycle that we go through. It's going to affect you. If you're in the Southwest, you better get out while you can because your property values are going to tank. And there is nothing that can be done to change this. If you don't want to believe it, if you don't want to accept the reality, all the losses that you're going to face are on you. Because now you've been warned. Look it up yourself. I'm just ringing the bell here. The information's out there. You go find it. Look it up. Drought in the Southwest, Colorado River Compact. Look up anything like that, and the news is all the same. It's kind of funny because a couple times they've got all excited because there's been some snow up in the mountains and the spring water runs off. They say, Lake Mead's going back up. It's fixing itself. No, it isn't. The drought is so bad that most of that water that comes off those mountains, it gets sucked up by the dirt. The ground absorbs it. Plants need water too. Nature takes her own. The Lake Mead's gone up like a foot. It goes right back down again. The party is over. The party's abuse of the Colorado River, they knew it was going on and they did it anyway. All the officials have known this. They've known since 1999 that we were entering a drought phase. They've known since about 2005 that it was getting serious. They haven't said anything. They continued development down there, which, in my opinion, it's a crime by the officials to have allowed that. Although in the Phoenix area, they did deny them any more permits for building in there, is what I've heard. No more developing inside of Phoenix. But hell, Phoenix is already full, so they just build everything in the country around it. They're doing that all over the Southwest. Look how fast they built up Henderson, Nevada. This is all on water out of the Colorado River. Even if you don't run out of water, you're going to run out of electricity. You know what it's going to cost to replace that? Who's going to pay for that? Federal government, you know what happens. Federal government doesn't have money. They've got money they take from us. We're going to foot the bill. But you better be ready. You better be forewarned because the Democrats are going to come charging out of the gate when the feds have to take over that water project the 1st of October. The court cases are going to explode. You're going to get tired of hearing about this. This is going to be the Nancy Guthrie case on steroids. You are going to get sick of hearing this, and it can't be stopped. Democrats are going to blame Republicans, of course. They're going to blame the fools who didn't believe in climate change. Well, I remember when those climate change people were saying the new ice age was coming. Okay, they don't know where to go. You got a bunch of man-bun scientists freaking out trying to find a political solution for this. There's no solution for this problem. Your life is going to change. Some part of your life is going to be affected by this. You're probably going to have to pay more in one way or another because of this. Some people are going to lose an awful lot because of this. Companies with private equity investors are really going to have to shift somewhere else. They better start building houses in Tennessee, Florida, and the target states because that market's going to die. It just has to. No one is going to buy or invest in an area with a crashing real estate market because you don't have water. You better think about this, my friends, because every word of this is verifiable. Every word of it is true. This is a reality. It will probably be the October surprise. It's going to be a surprise for the country and the news when the feds do take it over. But the Democrats will use this. Are they going to be smart enough to use it during the summer? Are they going to sound the alarms in time to start rebuilding their numbers before the election? Because we know those idiots are in bad shape right now. But this will arm them. This is a dream problem for them because they can blame us. Because they can blame the patriots, the people that weren't fooled by their climate change carbon tax crap. This is just what the Democrats want. They'll probably have Greta Thunberg out here kayaking down the Colorado, stopping and crying on the banks because there's nothing there, finding some Indians to hug her. Yeah, this is going to be so bad. But one way or another, you can't avoid this news. You might dismiss it right now. That's your own mistake. This one here is carved in stone. It's carved in the bottom of the riverbed that no longer has any water in it. Better pay attention. You heard it now. If you don't start paying attention, that's on you. You're going to be behind. And it's not just wait and see. This is the time to act. They should have acted a long time ago. They didn't. Anybody in that part of the country, in the southwest 7 states, better start considering how this can impact their future. Everybody that buys a product that would be food from that region, better start thinking about it. What are you going to do when the prices of all your veggies go up drastically? We got to get this right, my friends. And if we do, maybe God will continue to bless this great country of ours. Thanks for listening.